What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today is not only day 8 of all Imperial Beer Theme Month, it is also Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel, and the beer I'm reviewing today is yet another collaboration beer. This time between the Mortalis Brewing Company, and they are headquartered in Avon, New York, and the WeldWerks Brewing Company, and they are out of Greeley, Colorado, and this is their Barrel Aged Niflheim, and this is the copper wax variant. So this is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout brewed with coconut and almond. It comes in at 13% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This bottle is approximately 5 weeks old. So I'm super stoked today because this is the first ever barrel-aged beer from Mortalis that I'm reviewing on the channel. I've had a couple barrel-aged beers from them, but it's been at bottle shares and at beer festivals. Tough to get your hands on Mortalis barrel-aged offerings. They're typically 1 per person at the brewery, sometimes 2, and you don't see really almost any distribution of them until recently. I was at my favorite local bottle shop of choice, Brewed and Bottled, Lewis, New York, and I went there for Black Friday because Chris, the owner, had a bunch of awesome beers that he was releasing. He doesn't get enough, he doesn't really get any of the Bourbon County lineup because he really doesn't sell Goose Island stuff in general, so usually just gets the base. So I went there to support him, and I picked up a bunch of different beers, and he had some barrel-aged beer from Mortalis. He actually had, this was the only one I believe, and I was like, you know what? I rarely ever get out to either of the breweries, Mortalis, the one here in Buffalo or the one out in Avon, to grab barrel-aged offerings. So I picked this one up, and I'm super stoked for it. Coconut is in here, toasted coconut to be specific. This is an Imperial Stout that is aged for 15 months in a Buzzard Roost bourbon barrels and then conditioned on toasted coconut and almond. I'm here for it. This is the copper wax variant, as I said. They have a blue wax variant that is actually, the barrels are different. It's rye and bourbon as opposed to just bourbon. I would love that, but you gotta take what you can get. So I'm gonna crack this one open, get in the hashtag proper glassware. Now this does has the super thick wax, so to make a little slit here in the back. Hopefully we can easily get this one off, and we did. Now the one issue that I have had with the Mortalis barrel-aged beers is a lot of times they just don't have a ton of carbonation. They're usually very mildly carbonated. Some people might say they're flat. I don't know. They're very rich, syrupy, thick, but that's par for the course when it comes to Mortalis beers in general. So we're going to pour about half of this in there. Now, look, that's pouring out like motor oil. That's thick, that's syrupy. I might cap the other half of this, so I'm just going to do about half. We'll do something like that. I'm not trying to get crazy. It has some good carbonation though, believe it or not. Now, the one thing that a lot of people, including a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Sierra Hotel, has said about especially barrel-aged pastry stouts, but when it comes to Mortalis, it holds true. A lot of regular Imperial pastry stouts can be just way too sweet, especially if you have like a bunch of different adjuncts that are sweet. So I feel like the barrel cuts the sweetness of the beer and makes it more drinkable. And I'd agree with him and others who have said that. So I'm thinking that that is the case here, although they don't have a regular version of this, a non-barrel aged version, at least that I saw. Anyway, that, my friends, is, let's just see it a little better, but that is, like I said, pitch black. The head itself is like an uber dark brown, like almost like, I mean, that's crazy how dark brown the head is, but it, I swirled up, maybe like a fourth of a head is now dissipated from all the coconut, probably the coconut oils and everything. In fact, that's barrel aged, all that stuff. You're probably not going to get a head. It's 13%. There are sheets, beyond sheets, coating the side of the glass, and it's almost going to stain the glass if I don't wash this right after I'm done reviewing it. Yeah, I hold up to light. You can just see it staining it. So yeah, I mean, it looks absolutely what you expect. Like, again, in the hashtag proper glassware. Not really. This isn't like the proper glassware for this beer, but it is a Mortalis glass, so it's proper glassware, and as we all know, makes beer taste better. Shout out to Joe over at Joe's Arcade, Cal over at No Hype Beer Reviews. They know what I'm talking about. Let's get those. Yeah, I mean, that's insane. It smells like if you had like an almond coconut brownie. It's like fudgy brownie batter. Big almond vibes. Like the nuttiness on this is actually kind of, I won't say overpowering the coconut, but it's definitely the predominant note in the aroma. Yeah, if you've ever had just a delicious like artisan or like homemade brownie with some kind of chopped nuts, whether it's almonds or walnuts are very popular, something like that, that's what it smells like in beer form. There's, again, that little bit of toasted coconut, almost giving me like German chocolate cake vibes. And the barrel's there. Now the barrel's producing this nice kind of like vanilla oakiness that kind of helps accentuate the rest of the beer. I'm not getting pure on spirit, but you can smell it's boozy. You can smell it's barrel aged. It just doesn't have like a big, like, you know, robust barrel character. And it's aged for 15 months. So I think when you age them for 15 months, then condition it on the coconut and the almonds, maybe something happens there, but it's not huge with the bourbon. Some dark fruit underneath too, like a cherry, plum. Definitely caramelized sugars, big caramel and I was gonna say toffee, but not really. Like almost a little bit of butterscotch, like caramel butterscotch. Holy shit! I mean, I am blown away by the almond presence in this one. It's every time I go back, it's like I opened a can of like roasted almonds, and I'm just, you know, about to go in there and grab a handful. It almost has like the almond husk kind of. Again, if you just smelled the almond from the, before you, I don't sit here and smell almonds and eat them, but like, let's say you ripped open a fresh bag or a can of them and you take a whiff, that's kind of what it is. There's almost a little salinity, like there's a little bit of saltiness. I don't know, it smells awesome. It does smell rich, decadent. I do feel this is gonna be sweet, which is why I'm probably gonna cap that. The carbonation doesn't seem all that big. There's no, there's really no head. Like, look, I'll try to sort up a crazy head here. I don't wanna spill it, but yeah, I mean, a normal beer, you'd have at least a finger of head. It has like a thin film. Anyway, I want to get into it. Cheers, everybody. We're doing it big for all Imperial Beer Theme Month. Hopefully this is delicious. Cheers. My palate just went on a roller coaster of a ride. It's still going. First things first. It might not be to the media noche level from WeldWerks, who obviously has a hand in this. It is super viscous. Like, this is beyond thick. Coats the palate from front to back. So full body beyond belief. It's syrupy, a little bit oily in the mouth. Almost, again, like chocolate syrup-like consistency. It's thick, milkshake-esque. It's pretty impressive, the body. I'll be honest with you. Mouthfeel? Here's my only knock with these beers. It's not even Mortalis. It just goes for a lot of the hype places, but just a lot of like the barrel-aged Imperial pastry stouts. What happens, I think, with the carbonation is they purposely make it a little less carbonated, or maybe from the barrel aging, you know, the beer going in there was probably quite carbonated, or maybe they don't carbonate until afterwards. I don't know exactly what like this beer entails, but a lot of these just have a very tepid, dare I say flaccid, kind of carbonation. It just does. This is like mildly carbonated. It's not flat, but there's only a little bit of like prickly sensation when I first take the sip, and it just kind of smooths out. This is infinitely soft, very smooth and quite creamy. Like the body and mouthfeel are awesome, but I do think I'd like a little bit more carbonation to kind of liven it up a bit. It is crazy how thick this beer is. The taste, however, is it rich? Yes. Is it decadent? Sure. Is it cloying? I don't think so. Two saviors for this beer, specifically. Two. There's going to be two heroes, shout out to aforementioned Kyle, of this beer. One is going to be the barrel aging, because that barrel aging does cut, especially on the finish, kind of breaks up the monotony of all that sweet, pastry-esque kind of feeling to the first half, first third, or 2/3 of the beer. And then on top of that, I think the almonds are really the star of the show here. It's giving me this nutty kind of dryness to the beer from the almonds. So let's try to break this down as best I can. It's going to be a long review. You guys know this beer like this. Don't get my hands on barrel-aged beers from Mortalis as much. So, you know, let me go back for another sip and we'll start breaking it down. Yeah, so first thing that hits me up front, that fudgy brownie batter, you could say cake batter, it has this confectionery, pastry, cakey type of chocolate character. It's a sweet, like milk chocolate. I'm going to say fudgy brownie batter because that's kind of what reminds me of like eating wet brownie batter like you're not supposed to, or your ma or grandma growing up. They let you stick the finger in the bowl with the residue after they make the brownies, and you taste and you go, oh, kind of like, you know, with cookie dough, but with brownies. That's kind of, it just like has this very rich, fudgy brownie aspect to it. There's a little bit of an underlying roasted malt, but if I'm being honest with you, the base beer, like just a regular Imperial Stout, gets lost a little bit outside of the chocolate and the roasted malt. Right after that, Toasted Coconut actually hits me middle of the palate. And the Toasted Coconut is really nice, but for somebody who is a so-called coconut fiend, or the coconut police, shout out to Kyle for a third time this review, there's not enough in here for me. There needs to be a little bit more specifically for me to just like lose my shit over this beer, but it's nice. It has a nice toasted coconut, definitely works well with the beer. And then on the second half of the palate, I do get the barrel. It's nice, a nice like caramel kind of vanilla oak quality to it. And again, that breaks up the monotony of all that sweet base beer. The caramelized sugars I was getting in the nose, like up front, like the caramel I said, and butterscotch stuff didn't really carry over, excuse me, all that much either. Same thing with the dark fruits, not that much. And then finishes that. The almond hits. The almond, I don't really get the tip of the tongue. I get it on the finish, like the second half of the palate. And it finishes with this beautiful, like semi to full-on dry almond character, but it's a drying almond character. It's, yeah, a semi to full-on dryness that is, again, just is almond through and through. And then the back of the palate is giving me, again, like brownies that were made with some kind of nuts, specifically almonds. Absolutely zero bitterness to speak of here. Also, the dryness could be a little bit of that oak tannin seeping in. ABV, this is wild. I'm tasting it and just looking at the beer, drinking the beer, the mouthfeel, the body specifically. Everything in here screams huge Imperial Stout, 12+%, right? There's a slight warming in my chest right now. Nothing on the palate. I don't understand how they did this at all. Like it's pretty ridiculous how drinkable this beer is. Because of the lack of like ABV, noticeable ABV, I should say. So this is delicious, okay? Don't get me wrong. However, and I stand by this, and maybe I should have shared this, and you know, maybe I should have, you know, made sure that I was prepared to drink the entire thing. I still might drink the rest of this tonight. I don't know. We'll see how I go when I drink the last like 5 or 6 ounces of it, but the problem with beers like this for me personally is that this is, to me, the definition of a flight/sharing beer. This is a 16.9 fluid ounce bottle, so 500 milliliters. I want precisely around 4 to 5 ounces of this, and that's it. And if I went to the brewery and they had it on tap, that's what I would get. You know, they probably offer small pours of it, and if you do a flight, 4 to 5 ounces, typically the glasses. That's what I would be satiated with, 4 to 5 ounces of this. Don't need an entire bottle. However, the allure of reviewing a barrel-aged offering from Mortalis, but also I've never had a straight-on bottle myself that I've bought. I was like, you know what, I'm going to grab it. And then I was like, I want to drink this soon. It has a bunch of adjuncts. I don't want to sit on it and wait 6 months to, like I do with a lot of beers, 6 months, 12 months, the adjuncts fall off. Wanted to get to this relatively fresh, and I have, and I'm happy that I did. However, I definitely think that this is a beer that I would love to share with at least 2 to 3 other people. So, to me, the cons of this beer, I need a little bit more carbonation, just a little bit. Get into that mild to moderate realm. A little bit, wanted to liven up the palate a little bit. I want more toasted coconut clearly. And while this isn't cloying, I do think this beer is cloying if you want to drink the entire bottle. I'm gonna drink the rest of this. I'm not gonna be like, oh man, that's too much, too sweet, too over top. However, I think 8 ounces of this is probably where I tap out. It would be probably cloying after that. So this is a cloying beer if you're trying to attempt to drink this entire bottle by yourself. But if you're gonna share this with another person or maybe 2, 3 other people, it's not cloying. But we all have different levels of sweetness we can handle. I used to love sweet beers. Over the years, I've kind of come down on that a little bit, but I can still get behind this because it is a dessert/pastry-esque beer. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to have fun drinking the half of this now, and I might have the other half. Maybe I'll see if my Pops wants some of this, although he doesn't love big, boozy, rich beers like this anymore as well. We'll see. I'm definitely not going to waste it, and we'll talk about that momentarily because I paid a pretty penny. So, what are we going to give this rating-wise? Barrel Aged Niflheim, the copper wax variant from Mortalis. I then would go high 4.5. I'll go 4.6. I think that is a fantastic score. But if we start from a 5 out of 5 for something like this and we move backwards, again, lack of what I would see, or what I would think is a proper carbonation for this, negative. A little bit more toasted coconut, negative. And then the fact that it's just a huge, rich beer that I don't want in a bottle, slight negative. So we take a 5 out of 5 and we knock it down to a 4.6. 4.6 is a fantastic score. Now, if I took price point into consideration, probably be down to like a 4.5, maybe a 4.25. It's pricey. And how pricey, might you ask? Well, I don't know the price of the breweries. I want to say it's like 25, maybe 28 bucks, something like that. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know exactly. Don't hold me to what it was at the brewery, but at Brewed Bottled, I paid $30 a bottle. Now, Chris usually has great price points, so if he's charging 30, he probably is charging a couple bucks more than you would get at the brewery, which I'm fine with paying. That's how bottle shops make money. That's how distributors make money. That's just how it goes. But even if this was $25 a bottle, would I pay that again? I think I'd pay that again to share this with somebody and not drink on my own, if that makes any sense. If I see barrel-aged Mortalis beers in the future and I can get my hands on them, I'll probably share them. Maybe at that point I'll be doing on-location videos. I can do like, if I'm at a bottle share, or say maybe hanging out at Brewed and Bottled, or doing whatever, I can do a quick review of it, having 4 or 5 ounces of it. I think that's the proper way to kind of enjoy and share this one, and not really take it to the dome piece yourself, but sometimes you do that when you do beer reviews on YouTube. Availability, beers like this, pretty sure 99% of the time they're brewery only. They might make them occasionally on Tavour. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. I haven't bought anything from Tavour yet. I plan on doing so at some point. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to see barrel-aged stuff from them just show up, randomly, all over the place. You might see it here and there, whatever. But for the most part, brewery only, very hard to get. A lot of times you got to line up. There's certain barrel-aged beers from Mortalis where people line up for, hours and wait in line just to get a bottle or two. It's pretty wild. So yeah, anyway, this is really good. As you can tell, I gave it a 4.6 out of 5. It's a fantastic nightcap dessert-esque beer. I do like the barrel kind of cuts the sweetness. I like that drying almond sensation. I am shocked that the almonds are more prevalent than the coconut, but it's really nice because you don't get a lot, or at least I don't find a lot of nutty beers to actually bring whatever nut they're using to the forefront, whether it's almonds or walnuts or whatever. There's so many hazelnuts. It's one of those things where when I pick up on a beer, I get really excited about it. So if you've had this one before, or the blue wax variant, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. This is one of those beers I just want to drink for the body alone. It's such a fun beer. It's almost like drinking eggnog. I've actually, over the holidays had a couple glasses of eggnog like I usually do, and this has like the consistency of it. It's so thick and rich in the mouth. I don't know how long they boil it for. It's got to be a long time. Again, not quite to median noche levels, but not far behind. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. That does it for another all Imperial Beer Theme Month review, but also another Western York Wednesday. Check back next week. Don't know what I'm reviewing. These are kind of spur of the moment. I was looking at this in my fridge for the last couple days. I was like, I'm doing that. Doing that for Western York Wednesday. I don't want to sit on it and drink this a year from now and be like, oh, I wonder what the almonds and the coconut were. How were they? How were they fresh? Were they all that impactful and whatnot? Well, it is fresh, and yeah, they are. Coconut, not so much. Anyway, shutting this one down. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers. I talked about the ABV, right? Slight warming in the chest, nothing on the palate. Great, hides the ABV extremely well. But when you just look at this glass and like you get the body, it's like, yeah, this is like 12+%, maybe even like 13, 14. Doesn't hide it. Doesn't need to. But yeah, I'm surprised at the lack of like my chest not being on fire is like a super surprise, especially like the pit of my stomach with these beers. 13%. You can't taste it. And you can't feel it. And that is a scary thing, which is why I think I still want 4 to 5 ounces of this. Shutting it down. Cheers.